In Shame, a man's carefully cultivated private life, which allows him to indulge his sexual addiction, is disrupted when his sister Sissy arrives unannounced for an indefinite stay.
How'd it go last night?
Good night.
Uh-huh. Let's do it again tonight.
And my sister's playing downtown somewhere.
Can I stay for a few days? Why are you so angry?
That's my boss.
Hey, do you want to play?
Your hard drive is filthy. I mean, it is dirty.
Slowly.
I first heard about Shame the way I'm sure a lot of people first heard about it. It's NC-17, and that story made the rounds. If you don't know what that means, NC-17 is no children under 17, which is different than R, because with an R-rated movie, an adult can bring you if you're under 17, but with NC-17, you cannot go in if you are under 17. Now, this can be good and bad. It's bad because that limits the amount of theaters that you can be in, because most theaters these days won't show an NC-17 rated film. However, today, it's also kind of a good thing in a way because everybody's gonna talk about it, especially because it stars Michael Fassbender and Carey Mulligan. So everybody's gonna talk about this movie with them in it. That's NC-17. So, you know, there are pros and cons, but that I'm sure is irrelevant to the making of the film. That's just kind of the aftermath. I was not excited to see it because it was NC-17. I was excited to see it because of the cast. Michael Fassbender, I think, is fantastic, and I also really like Carey Mulligan, but really Michael Fassbender is the one I'm most interested in. I kind of, caught on to him this year, as I'm sure a lot of people did with, he was in X-Men, of course, and I am really excited to see anything else that he's in because, honestly, I could watch him act all day. I think he's great. However, I won't lie, the NC-17 aspect definitely intrigued me, so everything came together to make me really interested in seeing what this movie was all about. And now, having seen it, I have to say I thought it was great. I definitely think the NC-17, not that I think it's unfair because there's a lot of stuff in the movie that warrants it, but I don't think it was done in a way that NC-17 makes sense, It was like, I don't know, it's really hard to explain, but NC-17 makes it sound like it's almost, not porn, but it's almost like super inappropriate, but I don't know, it's really not. It's just, that's what the story is. So it is what it is. I'm sure that could be debated to no end, but I definitely thought the film was great, and I thought the acting was the strongest point of the whole movie. I thought the acting was fantastic, and I will get to that more, but first I'm going to talk about the plot. Now, I thought the plot was interesting, and it was good, but the way I feel about it is, it's almost like there was less story and more concept to the movie, if that makes sense. It was almost like peeking into the lives of these characters and just, seeing a snippet of their lives at a certain point in their lives, which I thought was good. And the thing is, I think it's less about the story and more about the characters, because I really liked the characters. Now, I have to say, Michael Fassbender's character is, of course, you heard the plot at the beginning of this, that's the official plot of the movie, and it says that he has a sexual addiction. Now, if you watch this movie and you didn't know that Michael Fassbender's character was supposed to be a sex addict, I don't know that you would think that he was a sex addict. You might think, well, he's just a horny guy. It didn't seem to be taking over his life necessarily, like I guess sex addiction is, supposed to. Now, this could be a perfectly realistic portrayal of a sex addict's life. However, I feel like it just didn't come across for the movie. Now, maybe you disagree with me, of course, so let me know, but that's how I feel about it, and I went in, like I'm sure most people did, knowing the plot was that he was a sex addict, so that's kind of like laid out for you ahead of time. I also liked Carey Mulligan's character. I think, once again, it was much more of a character movie than a story movie, and overall, I thought it was interesting. Directing-wise and visually, of course, this movie has a lot of nudity and sex in it and other stuff, but I thought it was all very well done. I didn't think any of it was, certainly nobody's watching and laughing and giggling at this movie. It's a serious and, gritty movie, and it's definitely nothing light. So I thought it was very well done in that sense. I thought that nothing was unnecessary, and I think that it was about as classy as you could make this story. I think that they kept it very simple. It was no frills. There was nothing glamorous about any of it. And I thought that was really, really great. And I also loved and appreciated that the movie kind of gave me a vibe that it assumed its viewers were intelligent. And the only thing that contradicts that is the fact that everybody knows going in that the character is a sex addict. But like I said, I feel like you might not get that if you just went into the movie completely cold, knowing nothing about it. You might just think that he's really into sex, not necessarily an addict. But I think other than that, it did a really good job of giving you enough to figure out what was going on. It definitely did not throw anything in your face, and I definitely love and appreciate when a movie treats its audience like it's intelligent. And I also loved the visuals of the movie and the pacing of the movie, I guess, because I thought there were some great tracking shots, long tracking shots, and also some long unedited takes, which with actors like this, with Fassbender and Carey Mulligan, and I thought everybody in the movie was great, but with these kind of actors, don't cut away. Just let them go. It was amazing to watch, and I'm glad that there were a lot of long takes in this movie. And the acting. Michael Fassbender, Carey Mulligan. Like I said, was very excited to see Michael Fassbender because I'm just interested to see what else he does, and he definitely did not let me down. I thought that he was fantastic in this film, as was Carey Mulligan, but Fassbender is the star of this movie, and I thought that he was brilliant. I think that he is an incredible actor, and I think this film was really just, he was the perfect person for this film, and I think he pulled it off excellently. And once again, Carey Mulligan also did a great job. I think she's a great actress as well. The two of them together was very good. They were kind of, contrasting each other in the film, and I thought that was great to watch, and it was definitely enjoyable. And overall, I really, really enjoyed this film. It feels like it just wasn't completely there just because it lacked a story for me. And like I said, I didn't think it lacked a story. That's the wrong thing to say, but I feel like it was less about the story, and I would have liked if it was a little bit more about the story. So while I did love it overall, I don't think that it was as great as I was hoping for. Amazing performances as far as I'm concerned, but overall, just a really good movie. Now I'm going to talk about some spoilers, so if you have not seen Shame, please do not watch the rest of this. You do not want to know what happens. I'm going to spoil things for you, especially the ending, so don't watch the rest of this. After you see Shame, you can come back and finish. So, I'd like to talk about the ending. I thought the ending was, I don't know, not predictable, but I thought that it was a little bit... Cliche is the wrong word too, but you know where I'm going with this. The shot, where she was sitting on the floor, I just thought, it's just, I've seen something like this before. And you could tell me that's as realistic as it gets maybe, but, it just kind of threw me off a bit. I definitely just preferred, honestly, following Michael Fassbender's character. I would have just liked to see more of what he did. And I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it exactly, but it definitely didn't fully sit well with me. And like I said, I don't think the movie necessarily portrayed him as a sex addict well enough, aside from going in knowing he's a sex addict. Maybe more just a guy that's really into sex and not necessarily that it's taking over his life. But of course, there are scenes that show that he is clearly, in need of sex often. Specifically, I would say the one that I'm sure threw people for a loop was when he went with the guy, and he followed the guy, I guess, into, whatever that place was, and he just used the guy because he couldn't get a girl. He was walking around trying to find a girl all night, and then finally he was like, all right, whatever, I'll settle. So maybe that is the only part that really showed that maybe he was more than just someone who's interested in sex, because that was, that was really pushing, because I don't think he was interested in the guy. He was just interested in what the guy was doing. So, that maybe was the only part that really pushed it. But overall, I think that was lacking a bit. And just talking about it now while reviewing it, I'm definitely thinking this is the type of movie that I'm going to digest as I think about it maybe over the next few days, because I only just watched it yesterday before reviewing it. But, my first impressions are what you just heard. I think I will digest it and maybe come up with some more stuff, but, this is what I think about it now. So let me know in the comments what you thought of Shame. Let me know what you were expecting because of the fact that it was NC-17. Let me know what you thought of the acting from Michael Fassbender and Carey Mulligan. Let me know what you thought of the fact that, like I said, maybe less story, more character-driven, and that's perfectly fine, but I think I would have liked a little more story, like I said. Also, let me know what you think of the nudity and the sex and stuff. Do you think that some of it was unnecessary, like we get the point, you don't have to show all of it, or were you like me and you thought that it was fine? I really wasn't fazed by it necessarily. But let me know anything you want about Shame, and that's pretty much it.